Opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. This medical program heard from 7 to 7:30 each Saturday right here on WSBR 740 AM is brought to you by the Adult and Geriatric Center under the medical direction of geriatrician Dr. Andy Mencia. Okay, so here we go. A lot of excitement stuff here in the studio, and of course Dr. Mencia brings this when you come. You know, Dr. Mencia, you know, I have always prided myself on having a show that's full of positive. There are a lot of negative things, and people have enough of that on the news, but I had to do this with Girl Rising somehow, and I know that we like the wonderful world of wellness, but I don't know how we could do something to help this. I mean,
Well, in every catastrophe, there is a star shining somewhere in the universe. And
that's
I think
nice.
In this catastrophe, these ladies are the shining stars.
That's nice.
And everybody behind it, you know.
It's pretty. It was pretty. I didn't know just exactly what that was. So when they asked me, could we be on your show? And I heard a little bit about it. I said, sure, let's come on. But anyway, Dr. Mencia, I am so thrilled to hear that you are opening, or you have opened, your center in Boynton Beach. It is just absolutely wonderful.
They've been cleaning up and getting set up.
And we're going to have the big opening, and I think that is on October the
23rd.
23rd is a Thursday, I think.
It's on a Thursday.
And it's going to be from 4 to 7, I believe.
From 4 to 7.
Okay, now do people have to make reservations, or they just come?
It's better to call.
Yeah, it is better.
I guess it's better to call and so that we are organized. Since there are going to be some people from the city, some the mayor,
right. And food. You have to know how much food.
Will be there, and so it's gonna be a beautiful event. It would be nice to have people come and to meet not only the Dr. Moscoway, who will be the primary care physician there, but also to meet Juan, you want to bring him to the show.
Juan. I love Juan.
Homer, that is so caring and is on top of everything.
Who gave me the flu shot?
That was Oscar.
Oh, it's Oscar. Oh, yeah, I love Oscar, too.
Yeah. They're all great. They're all great.
I have to tell you, the flu shot for me is so important. We were having a business meeting at Dr. Mencia's, and I wanted my flu shot. So I said, just bring your stuff. He said, why don't you come into the medical? No, just come into the room and just give me the shot. He did. It was over. I never felt a thing.
Yeah,
everybody has to get their flu shots now.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the dental department is, up and running in Boynton Beach, in Hagen Ranch. I guess we have the address there.
Yeah, well, I want to tell people how to get there, too. We'll do that afterwards. But it's very important. So let's give them a phone number, because should we give them the number out there? Should we give them your commercial number?
No, we can give both now. They are both running.
Oh, okay.
Both numbers are running now.
All right. So if you want let's give you the commercial one. So because anything you need now, you can go there. Saturdays they're open. Dr. Mencia is here. He runs out at 8 o'clock to 7:30 to be able to get to you at 8. 954-489-1345. 954-489-1345. You can go to their website, which is adultgeriatrics.com. But lots of things are changing. We're going to have a brand new, you're going to see a beautiful new ad this time. You're going to see lots of information. And I just have to say, it's a big congratulations. How long has it been that you've been practicing on commercial in Fort Lauderdale, and that you have dreamt of doing this?
It's going into 20 years. And the objective is basically to take something that had been working so well for the community, that have helped me save so many lives, have helped me maintain the quality of life in so many human beings, that I feel compelled to keep expanding, something that is working so well to other people.
And now it's called AGI. So if you see that, it's still Adult Geriatrics Institute, but it's AGI. We're just kind of getting more contemporary, and it's easier to remember. So it's AGI when you hear it, and you have the number for the
Boynton. Yes, the address is 12453 Hagen Ranch Road in Boynton Beach, Florida, 33437. And their phone number is going to be it's already open. It's 561-270-6494.
Okay.
561-270-6494.
And I already have a patient. Someone called me the other day, and
people have been calling the phone. I mean, the reception is. We were expecting this. We honestly were expecting this, and the reception is. It have really taken us by surprise, more than what we were expecting, faster than what we were expecting. So I guess it was a needed service, and we hope that God keep blessing us, so we keep expanding this to area where it is highly needed.
Right. Well, now you have people coming down from Jupiter down to Boynton Beach.
Yes.
And then from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, and then in between they can decide which place they want to be. Well, the other thing that I think, I don't know if we can't tell them anything exactly, but you're going to be a television star, and we're going to be doing something that Dr. Mencia is going to have a show. It's going to be on the internet. It's going to be beautiful, first class. Mm-hmm. But we better save that until it really is, so we have something to talk to you about.
Something concrete.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, Dr. Mencia, the whole thing with the flu. Well, actually, I have to tell you that our board operator, who we love so much, Chris, said that he had like a little mini stroke the other day, and he was going to talk to you about it. And I think it's maybe a good time for you to discuss when someone's having a little stroke. How do they know it? What should they do? Mm-hmm. You're always prepared for this.
Yes, if you can imagine a big field with a wonderful irrigation system. So in order for a huge field to have an irrigation system, I am not a plumber, but I use logic.
I love it.
And you're going to have huge pipes to extend the water to the distance, but then you're going to have to have branches coming out of those main pipes so that the water can be dispersed throughout the entire field. So if one of those main pipes in the brain get affected, the person will feel and will be reminded, most likely for the rest of their life, that pipe had been clotted or had been affected. And the way we know is because we end up with loss of sensation or paralysis on one side of the body or the face or both. And the speech might be altered for the rest of your life. And the swallowing ability of the person get affected for the rest of their life. And it can be all of the above, or a combination of things from all those things. Sensation, the power that you used to have on the leg or the arm will go away. When one of those branches get affected, what you have is it could be a tiny sensation, a small part of your body. It could be on the face. It could be part of your arm.
So he said his arm was a little numb.
Right.
And then he had this big in his neck. It was very swollen, he said.
Mm-hmm. So, and it can be short-lasting.
And he had a headache all day.
Right. And the headache, is interesting because the headache comes about because once the small branch get affected, the brain responds with inflammation by swelling. So the little bit of swelling of the brain will give you a headache. And the right thing to do is basically to make sure that we're taking at least a baby aspirin. and then start doing all of the things that people will normally do to prevent, such as start being more active, exercising,
No salt?
monitoring the diet, decreasing the amount of salt intake, not completely getting rid of salt, because I usually tell people when I talk to my patient that I like to be practical in my way of practicing medicine. So I try not to make a drastic change in people's life, because I know I cannot even do it myself, and a lot of us cannot just make a drastic change like that. But to start modifying things. So I tell my patient, you listen, if you eat a lot of starch, cut down by 25, 50% if you are good enough. Cut it down, but cut down on the starches. Cut down on the junk food. Cut down on the soda. There was a study that just came out that been looking at, let's say, obesity and heart disease, brain disease like stroke, brain stroke, heart attack. And we have assumed, the medical science have assumed all along that if you are obese, then you are at risk for a heart attack. And that's not true. There's a lot of people that are obese, and their heart, the cholesterol, everything is completely normal. What is true is when you take the junk food, the hamburger and the French fry is not what kills people. It's the soda that we put next to it.
The soda?
Is the calorie that we add to the junk food. So, if we have a problem with cholesterol, of course we need to, be careful with the French fry and the hamburger and all of that. But the real killer is when you combine those food with sweet, with, Coke and Pepsi and all of those soda that have so much sugar in it. And it's that combination that is killing people. So we are learning, we're still in diaper in our scientific world, in learning how to, reach longevity. And I tell you, growing up in Hawaii, to us, beauty is in obesity.
That's true.
To us, beauty is in obesity. It's a lot of, it's a big study in Hawaii where they look a lot of obese women, and they get their heart check and they get their blood test check, and they are very happy people, and they take good care of themselves, and but they are very active also. In Hawaii, we have a tendency, now it's changing, of course, over the years, because we get the influence from the USA into our islands. But in Hawaii, it was all about walking. You will go to your next door neighbor, or
it's 5 miles away.
Neighbor that will be exactly, or 3 or 4, and you walk there. So, and the weather will be, it will be appropriate for you to go and take a stroll.
And they dance, they do.
And we do a lot of dancing.
Right.
And we are very active. So I think the obesity per se is no what's killing us. Is what we are doing in combining the diet with all this the fatty food with the calorie. So changing those behavior definitely will help us out.
Well, let me ask you a question.
And basically, for a person like Chris, who is is a young guy. Is an important point to bring about to the audience that I have seen strokes from kids to teenagers to young adults. There's no exception. A lot of people think that you have to be an old person to get a stroke, and that's not true. I remember when I first moved here almost 20 years ago in Florida, one of my first stroke patients was a young black guy, 31 years old. And it was a full-blown stroke. But he was a diabetic, he didn't know. He had high blood pressure, he didn't know that either. And he ended up in North Broward Medical Center, and they called me because I happened to be on call. since I didn't have that many patients and that much to do, I said, put me on call. I take call for you.
Yes, that's right.
And
Mr. Ambition
that
here.
was one of my first cases. It was a young guy, 31 years old. So stroke has no boundary, like the show we discussed before. It can affect anybody, and minority are more at risk because they don't tend to go to the doctor as their counterpart. But it can affect anybody. So,
well, let me ask you. Let's go back to soda a minute. People think if they drink diet soda, it's fine.
No, it's
It
not
isn't.
fine.
It isn't.
It's not fine.
I read a
Not
book.
fine.
I have to say, it must have been 25 years. It's been
There
20
is no
years.
soda in my fridge.
I never drink soda. 20 years ago, I read a book called Fit for Life. It was very popular. And the one thing it said, besides walking every day, was never drink soda. I think I've had 3 sodas in 20 years. Only a Coca-Cola if I'm feeling nauseous or I've been in a foreign country, but I never drink soda, ever. And the soda industry is what has happened. I mean, it's horrible. I do drink Perrier.
Well,
That's why I drink my water.
Perrier is okay.
Right.
Yeah, but you're buying sugar.
But even if it's not, but that's okay. But what about the diet soda? People just drink that like crazy. That's not good either.
Yeah, that's not good either. No, it's there's no soda, diet or no diet. There's no soda in my fridge.
No, that's right.
And,
nor in mine.
And I don't impose in other people. So if people go to my office in my practice, there is soda there.
Right.
So whoever want to drink it, that's their choice. I'm not going to enforce my way of life in other people. I don't do that.
I know, but that's why you look like you do. That's why you're so healthy. And this doesn't happen casually. It's not just, look, you were born with great genes, obviously, but you work at this, don't you?
I took one of my staff yesterday. She was drinking coffee. And to make a joke, I took some because I took some of the soda and put it in so she think it was still coffee. So she goes and drinking. And she started cursing in Russian.
Oh, I know that. That's right. No, but this isn't a casual thing for you to look and to be the way you are.
I had been, since my father was very influential on me. And from a very young age, he used to make sure we were active. I did Roman record wrestling. My brother was a Pan American champion in wrestling, in Olympic wrestling. So we always were very active. I was Hawaii World Champion in judo. Then I became Hawaii World Champion in taekwondo. Then I became the president for the USA Taekwondo Federation. So I have always been involved in sport, and it had become, after a while, then it just become a part of life.
But what should people, the average patient that you have, what should they do?
What I do, I go for walks. I tell them. I say, now I'm so busy with my career and my, my business is expanding and growing so rapidly. And, one of the things, always pray to God to keep me humble, number one. And then number two, to make sure I am doing always something. So I have an apartment close to A1A, and I just go out when the sun is down, it's nice and cool, and I go for a stroll. Just go for a long walk. And I used to do this with Rosemary many years ago. And it was a wonderful moment to talk about business, an idea, So if you have a friend, a partner, a husband, a wife, a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, just...
A dog,
just, go for a walk, talk to your dog.
But it's interesting that you should say that.
And
right.
think and plan. You just go through short-term planning. What are you going to do, this week? What you going to do tomorrow? What you going to do today if you do it in the morning?
Or observe the beautiful flora and fauna. We live in such a gorgeous environment.
Absolutely.
And when I see these people with those earphones and all, I think they're losing out. Everybody has to do what they want, but I like to look at things.
I like,
and
I'm a people, so I love to, I see people, I wave at them,
But just to look at the flowers, hibiscus. I love hibiscus, and you see it opening, and you see so much, especially live near the water, and you see little animals and fish and things. I mean, I don't know where this all came from for me, but I certainly do enjoy this.
One of my friends texts me and say, "What are you going to do?" I say, "I'm going to eat." They say, "Oh, but you just ate at the office." I say, "No, I'm going to feed my soul now."
I love that. Well, but that's where people then get rid of their stress.
Absolutely.
And so
excellent source of releasing now stress and I'm planning and organizing yourself. The more organized we are, the more productive we become. And age is no limit to be productive.
And I have to compliment you again, and I'm just going to share this. I recently did some sensitivity training for a very big organization, and I always talk about hugs. I always talk about a doctor I know, because there are a lot of doctors in this training, so I don't make them feel bad. But I always say, there's a doctor that I work very closely with, and the most important thing that I think he does is he hugs patients. And, they shake their heads, and many of them are foreign, which is interesting. But one doctor raised his hand and said, well, but we were told by our company that that's not something we are allowed to do, because even though we know it's a good thing, they say you should be very careful about touching your patients in another way. Tell me about this.
Well, I mean, when it comes to a patient-doctor relationship, it's a process like any other relationship. I cannot go, if I'm going to take you out on a date and try to kiss you the first 2 seconds that we are shaking hands. So it's a process, it's a matter of growing into a relationship. And I grow into a relationship with my patient, and it's my relationship, different from any other doctor, cannot only be professional, because we are human beings. So it have to have a human touch, at least a handshake. And I remember I used to have a patient of mine, and she was Orthodox Jew. And I go, and first time that we meet, I was going to shake her hand. She said, "No, don't touch me. I'm Orthodox Jew."
Oh my goodness!
And I said,
"Oh, is that right?"
I said, "Okay." And she was going out with a rabbi. So that's even worse. I mean, you don't touch, don't even look. So, but the rabbi is my patient, so he said, "I want you to see Dr. Mencia." He spoke so highly of me. And she came, and she was my patient, and we started the professional relationship. And I still maintain my human relationship with her as much as her religion will allow. And, one day they broke apart. And she came in, and she was so sad. And she goes, "Dr. Mencia, I need a hug."
Oh, that's interesting.
And I went
my
to
goodness.
her and gave her a hug, and we spoke. And from that moment on, she still come to me. Her kids are my patients, and she still come to me and she give me the hug, and she know that hug is coming from my
Of
heart.
course, but it does. I watch you, and that's why I think your personnel, your staff, are so loving and so good, because they see this in you. I mean, I when they said that to me, I understand that sometimes you have to be careful, but I think the hugs, and I mentioned this, and I said, I don't care what your company says. I said, it's medicine that you're giving them. It's better than the drugs.
Of course. And it's just, there's, I hug my kids, and I kiss my kids on the cheek and what have you. But I wouldn't hug my kids like I would hug my wife. It's a different hug. So, and I hug my patient like I would not hug my kids, So it's, it's like a handshake. And it basically a hug. I remember I was walking through Manhattan one time, and there's a bunch of kids from, I think they were from Columbia Presbyterian. A bunch of kids from Columbia Presbyterian, social study. And they are with a big sign, free hugs, free hugs. And you'd be amazed people going to hug these kids over there because they were with the sign giving free hug to other people. Completely stranger. There's no relationship. Just people walking on the street, somebody from California hugging somebody from Texas. just people hugging people. And so
that's actually a big thing at comic book conventions, is that there's always a group of teens walking around with the free hug sign. It's become a big staple in the con community.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, absolutely. It's so a lot of people is becoming so popular. Like Chris just said, and they have their convention and people get together, and it sort of brings us more together as a country.
Yep.
We need to find way, because our country is so unique. I mean, find another place in the world where Jewish have their way of of growing and expanding, as well as Muslim and Christian and non-believer and the rich and the poor, and in this country we all become equal. We all have our human rights.
We do, and we all have our time that we all of a sudden it's over and we can't do this anymore. And I loved having you here. You look so gorgeous. I didn't tell you that this morning. But we'll be talking more about this wonderful new opening. Thank you, Dr. Mencia, so much.
Before we leave, it's breast cancer awareness.
Oh, yes, I see you have that pin on.
I've been wearing pink all day. I have one of the reps that said, you have enough clothes to wear pink all week? I say, yes, I've been wearing pink all week, except today is purple. But breast cancer awareness, we do have ultrasound at the center, above center.
Good. So people can have
check your breast. If you don't have the money to go for a mammogram, if we can do an ultrasound, whatever we can do.
Oh, that's wonderful of you. Thank you.
Breast cancer is killing a lot of beautiful men and women.
Yeah, men and women. We'll talk about another time. But thank you very much, Dr. Mencia. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to The Wonderful World of Wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. Be sure to tune in each Saturday morning from 7 to 7:30 right here on WSBR 740 AM.